Subscribe for more.
My name is Dorian Hayes. I'm 38, and I never imagined I'd find myself in this situation. I'd been married to Celine, my wife, for almost 12 years. From the outside, we looked perfect: comfortable home, stable careers, weekend trips, friends we met through work, and the kind of life most people envy. I thought I knew her. I thought I understood everything about our marriage, our life together. But nothing could have prepared me for the day I saw her AP's name on a bank card she had been carrying around for months without me knowing. It started on a Sunday afternoon. I had gone through some paperwork for our joint accounts. Nothing unusual, just making sure our finances were organized for the upcoming month. I noticed a card tucked away in a drawer, one I hadn't seen before. It wasn't in my name, and I assumed it was another credit card from her work or one of those store cards we sometimes sign up for. But then I saw the name embossed on it: Gideon Thorne. That wasn't anyone I recognized. I froze, staring at the name, the metal card cold in my hand. My mind raced. I knew I had heard the name before somewhere, on a message she once left open on her phone, I think, but I hadn't paid attention. Now seeing it like this, in cold, hard print, something inside me snapped. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a coworker's card. Maybe she was helping someone out financially. I wanted to believe her, to cling to that idea, because the thought that Celine could betray me in this way was unbearable. But denial doesn't last when you're staring at evidence. Something in my gut told me the truth, and I knew I had to face it. I waited until she came home from work. She walked in, cheerful as always, holding a bag of groceries, humming a tune. I tried to act normal. I set the card on the counter without saying anything and kept my voice calm when I said, "Hey, Celine, whose card is this?" Her smile faltered slightly, the first crack in her armor I'd seen in months. She tried to brush it off. "Oh, that? It's nothing, just someone I've been helping with finances. Don't worry about it." I nodded slowly, but I could feel the tension rising in my chest. I decided I needed the truth, and I needed it now. "Celine, I need you to be honest with me. Is there someone else?" My words were calm, but each one hit harder than I expected. The air in the room seemed to thicken as she froze, her hands gripping the grocery bag tightly. Finally, she sighed, the kind of sigh that carries years of guilt and exhaustion. "Yes," she said, barely above a whisper. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It did. I never wanted to hurt you, Dorian. I'm sorry." I felt like the floor had been pulled out from under me. My chest tightened, my hands shook, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. I didn't yell. I didn't storm out. I just stood there, absorbing the weight of her words. All the mornings I had kissed her goodbye, all the nights I had fallen asleep next to her, thinking we were okay, now felt like a lie I had been living. For a while, we just stood there in silence. The kind of silence that doesn't need words because everything has already been said. Then she tried to explain, listing excuses, half-truths, and vague apologies. But I wasn't hearing it anymore. Every word felt hollow. I realized that this wasn't about just one mistake. This was months, maybe years, of betrayal hidden in plain sight. The card was just the proof. The act of deception, the lying, the secrecy. That was the real betrayal. I went to our bedroom and sat down on the edge of the bed. My hands were still trembling. I didn't want to confront her anymore. Not yet. I needed clarity, not confrontation. I thought about all the sacrifices I had made. All the late nights working extra hours so we could pay off the mortgage. All the small gestures of love she never noticed. And I realized something critical. I had been giving my energy, my trust, my life, to someone who no longer respected or valued me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Gideon Thorne, thinking about the lies, thinking about how long this had been going on. Every memory of our marriage flashed before my eyes. Not like happy memories, but like a slideshow of moments that were tainted with deception I hadn't noticed. I felt small, invisible, like I had been living in a shadow of reality that only she knew. By morning, I knew what I had to do. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to scream, cry, or beg. I wanted clarity and dignity for both of us. I packed a small bag, clothes, essentials, and a few personal items, and left it on the chair in the bedroom. I didn't say a word to Celine. I didn't need to. The weight of what had happened was enough. I just walked out, feeling a strange combination of grief and liberation. I drove to a friend's house, Lachlan Reed, a colleague who had been through a similar betrayal. I needed to be somewhere that felt safe, somewhere I could process without distraction. When he asked me what happened, I simply said, "She chose someone else. I'm done trying to convince her to stay." There was no anger in my voice, only a cold, quiet clarity. That night, I slept on his couch, the first restful sleep I'd had in months. The following days were a blur of practicalities, changing passwords, securing my finances, making arrangements for the house, and slowly detaching myself from the life I had shared with Celine. Every action was deliberate, controlled. I wasn't punishing her. I was reclaiming myself. The more I focused on clarity and control, the more I realized how much I had given away without noticing. A week later, I saw her briefly when she returned to the house to collect some belongings. There was no confrontation, no pleading, no blame. We exchanged a few words about logistics, and that was it. I felt a strange sense of peace, bitter but genuine. I had walked away from something that was no longer reciprocal, and in that decision, I found a part of myself I thought had been lost. It's surreal, realizing that someone you loved can be right in front of you, yet your world changes in an instant because trust has been broken. I don't hate Celine, but I also don't need her anymore. I don't seek revenge. I seek equilibrium, the calm after the storm of betrayal. And in that calm, I've started to rebuild. My life, my dignity, my choices, entirely mine again. I learned something crucial from this. Betrayal doesn't always come with shouting or violence. Sometimes it comes in quiet, subtle ways, in small cards and secret accounts, in whispers you didn't hear, in shadows you didn't notice. And leaving isn't weakness, it's recognition of truth. It's standing up and saying, "I will no longer participate in a life where my worth is invisible." That night, lying awake in Lachlan's spare bedroom, I realized that peace is possible, even after the deepest betrayal. I have no idea what the future holds with Celine or Gideon Thorne, and I don't want to. What I do know is that I've stepped out of a life of lies and into one where my dignity is intact. And that, I've realized, is worth more than any marriage, any lie, or any betrayal.